One of the most important aspects about Adobe InDesign and really any other Adobe program is how customizable it is. Literally every single panel in here can be moved, reorganized, and shrunk down, deleted, added. There's just so many things you can do, and you can take this program, you can customize it to exactly how you want to work. For example, let's say you have a book designer and someone who creates PDFs for their college course. They're not going to be doing the exact same thing. So why would you have a layout that is exactly the same? A book designer is going to be working with multi-pages and masters and styles, while a PDF might just be working with a few pictures and some text. So what you can do is you can actually take every aspect of this program, move it around, and organize it how you want. And this is called a workspace. So what we're in right now is the Essentials workspace. This is what Adobe said, they got together and they said, this is the most essential, the basics, where you could start from and get most of your work done with all of this stuff. Every single Adobe program has an Essentials. To get to the different workspaces, just go up to the top right here and click on it, and you'll see that there's actually a bunch of different predefined ones that Adobe has created for you. So what we have here is we have an advanced, book, digital publishing, interactive for PDF, printing and proofing, typography, and those are the ones they created. So let's, for example, take a click on book right here. You can now see that it's opened up. The pages is sort of prominent because, you're making a book, so you kind of want to see that. You have different things like object styles, text wrap, stroke, swatches. And so this is what Adobe thought, if you're making a book, these are the panels, this is how you want it organized. But let's say we're making a book and we want to organize it slightly differently. What we can do is we can actually take this, and let's say we wanted the swatches over here. Let's build our own panel. And then we wanted to take the stroke and we wanted to drag that down here. But we wanted something else. We wanted the effects as well. So we can go up to window right here, and this is the list of all the panels. If it has a checkbox, it's presented somewhere on here. If there's no checkbox, it is not presented on here, and you can just click on it and you can open it up. So I just clicked on the effects button right here, and then now we can just drag it over here, and wherever it lights up that little blue, you can put it there. So this is going to put it in the left side. This is going to put it on the left of the tools. We can even put it maybe over to the right over here in a nice other list, or we can create our own list. So if we put it maybe to the left, we can create a bunch of these boxes that are similar. And what's really neat is if you are working with a second monitor, we can drag it over to the second monitor, and we can actually create like an entire design on the second monitor. Just basically have all the controls and switches to the right. So like I said, really, really customizable. Let's drag and drop this right here and make this. And now let's say that we've worked through this. We really, really love how this is working, how this is flowing. So what we can do is we can actually go up here and we can click the New Workspace button. And what it's going to do is it's going to save a snapshot of this workspace. And we can name it something like book, maybe like coloring or something like that. Maybe this is the coloring book that sort of layout that we wanted. So we can click OK. And now you'll see up here we have above the defaults, we have one called book coloring. So let's go back to Essentials for a second, and you'll see that it goes back to the Essentials that it was at. And then now if we go up to book coloring, you'll see that it immediately opens up our workspace so that we can begin working from whatever we stopped at last time, or this default that we always like to come back to. Now let's say we go into Essentials and we're working in here, we're dragging some panels around, and we accidentally, drag the tools out and delete them. And then we don't, you can go up to Windows and get tools back. But let's say you've done something really weird where, you've created some panels that are just all over the place, and you just don't want to have to go through, resetting everything. It just looks bad and you want to get it back to where it started. To do that, all you have to do is go up to the Essentials, and right down here, it's going to be to reset that workspace. So now we can click Reset Essentials right here, and it's going to reorganize everything back to the norm of what Essentials is. And like I said, I don't like the library, so I always drag it out. And notice that it always saves until we hit Reset Essentials. So from now on, this is how Essentials will always be when I come back to it. But if I reset it, it's going to go back to what the default is. Let's go up to book coloring, and we can do the exact same thing now since we've saved it as its own default. So if we go here and let's drag it like to here, again, we're just messing things up. Now we can go to reset book coloring right here, and it's going to reset our new workspace as just like it resetted Essentials. So that's something really, really important to understand, is that you can never really break the program as long as you create a couple saves, and these are always going to be here. So you can always click on one of these and reset it back to the default. Now, the workspace and the view is not the only thing that is customizable in Adobe InDesign. You can also manipulate how the program interacts with you and other aspects of the program within itself. To do that, all you have to do is go up to Edit and then down to Preferences and then just click on one of these. And over here, you'll be presented with a list of just a bunch of different areas where they're going to have little options that you can adjust to sort of manipulate it to how you want it to work. In all honesty, I don't know what 80% of these things do, and a lot of people don't. They're just here in case you need them. Some person at some point, wrote a message to Adobe saying, I really wish we could customize this feature. It's slowing down my workspace. And so what Adobe does is they sort of just create that and then they throw it into the preferences. And then so when that person and that group of people that have that problem, they can come in here and they can manipulate that change. So we might be touching in here a couple times throughout the course, but you don't need to understand this, every single option in here. Understand that a lot of professionals don't understand a lot of this. It's just here in case you need it. A lot of times if you look up a guide or something online, let's say that the appearance of black is not how you like it to appear, there's a column for that. Someone has complained about that before and they've added it in here. So when you look up the tutorial, they're gonna say go into preferences and then change this setting to that setting, something like that. So just to understand that this is here and there's a bunch of different little things that you can do. You might need to manipulate them. If something isn't working, maybe you want to come in here and just take a look around and see if you can't manipulate that yourself. So that is really it on the customizability of Adobe InDesign. Just the really key aspects of this are to understand that you can customize your workspace any way that you like, and you should customize it any way you like. Don't, get caught up in that the pages and the layers and the links and stuff have to be over here. Maybe you like the tools on the right. Maybe you like the tools floating right here. And maybe you want to manipulate some of the inner settings of Adobe InDesign. It's all there so that you can do this and you can get to the fastest workflow to create your work as possible. This shouldn't be a limitation. It should be a bunch of tools and an extension of yourself so that right when you jump in, you can just start being creative instead of having to try to figure things out and trying to look for things.